So glad all of you are here. Before we get started, I'm going to ask Annie Watkins to come up and bless food, and then we'll let y'all serve, and then we'll start the program. Annie?
Dear God, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for letting us gather here, and I pray that we would use our many blessings you've given us for your glory. And please bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies. Amen.
I think we're relatively close to everyone getting something to eat, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, welcome to Jackson Prep. For those of you, again, who don't know, my name is Lawrence Coco. I'm in my second year as the head of school at Prep. A little bit about myself. I was a graduate of Prep. I came here in the 7th grade. Actually moved here from somewhere else. So I have, my experience at Prep was one of kind of being dropped into Prep, not kind of going to any school here. I moved from Alexandria, Louisiana. So for me, Prep was very much a formative experience in the sense that I had to make and assimilate to Prep life. And for me, it was a very transformative experience, a place where I went from being a boy to a young man to a young adult. And I know some of our students have had that experience as well. I came back last year after being a lawyer for about 15 or 16 years, but before I went to law school, I taught, coached, and was in administration here. So and I was on the board of trustees, was the chairman of the strategic planning campaign that put in place the strategic plan we have now. And it's been really a wonderful experience coming back to Prep. I'm very passionate about Prep. I'm excited about what it does for our students. I'm excited about what it does for our community. And I'm thrilled that all of you are here to learn more about Prep and what we're doing with our students and get to know us a little bit better and allow us the opportunity to get to know all of you as well. Our mission statement provides that we inspire and challenge students towards academic, athletic, and artistic excellence. We instill personal integrity through biblical values and equip students to pursue lives of distinction and service to society. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about here today. We're going to share how we make that mission statement come alive. And I could sit here and talk forever about what I think makes Prep great. But the truth is, what we really want to do is give you an opportunity to hear from a parent who has brought her children over, and from the students who have come over themselves, and hear about their experiences in academics, athletics, the arts, our leadership program, our spiritual activities, our community. We want you to hear from them about their experiences here, and then ask questions of us, ask questions of the faculty and staff that we have here as well, and I'll introduce them in a minute. But first, before we get too far afield, I want to invite Mary Kelly Branning. Mary Kelly, I know many of you know Mary Kelly and Jason. They've got 3 students here: Meg, who's a 10th grader, Charlie, who's an 8th grader, and Ben, who's a 7th grader. So Mary Kelly, please come out and visit with us.
I'm excited to get to be here today with you. It's kind of fun to get to talk to you in this scenario when I know we've had lots of one-on-one conversations about this very thing. We were in y'all's, let me back up. I'm Mary Kelly. I know that I know most of you, but just to make sure my history with Christ Covenant School, I had the privilege of working there for 9 years. And we love CCS and always will. And I will tell you, CCS has a great reputation here at Prep. I have teachers and coaches and administrators come up to me all the time and say how much they love CCS students, how much they love the families, how excited they are to get new families that are coming, and how can we get more of them. So just so that you know that there is a great reputation that precedes Christ Covenant families, and we are thankful that they're recognized for being good kids who work hard and get involved in student life. Here at Prep, I kind of have several hats this year, and I feel the same way today. I'm going to talk to you as a mom and as a staff member. Our 3 kids have come over in the past 2 years, and it's been a really good transition. Meg came last year, and our boys came this year, and I will say they've all been well prepared. It is a much bigger world here. which I think is a good, appropriate move to make before they move off to college. They get a chance to kind of practice walking outside the doors of a place that's real familiar to them. But it's been a really good transition. I would say boys are easier than girls. That's been our experience. But after some time, Meg really did have a great transition last year. If we talk, the things that we thought about as we were trying to make our decision about where we were going to send our kids to school, we wanted solid academics. We wanted extracurricular activities, whether those were athletics or the arts, that they could participate in and find their place. And then we were concerned about the social aspect, and would it be a place that would be a place that we felt at home, that we would find like-minded students and parents, that we would kind of parent together and want the same things for our kids, and if we felt like it was a place where we could find our people. Starting with academics, I think Prep has a strong reputation for being, having high expectations for students academically, and we have been very pleased with the teachers that our students have had, that our kids have had. They work hard. They know their teachers know them. There's lots of times outside of class where teachers have tutorials that they can go and get extra help, ask questions when needed. But they've had a great experience with their teachers so far. Activity-wise, if you can't find something to do at Jackson Prep for your students, I don't know what else they're interested in, because we've got, I think one thing that really sets Prep apart, there's so many ways for the kids to get plugged in. And we've got one kid who we're pushing out the door, why don't you try this? Why don't you try this? And the other one we're saying, you've got a limit. 4 is enough. That's good. I mean, you're great. But kids have come over and jumped in. That's the really great thing for kids coming in 9th grade. The admissions team and the coaches are really good at reaching out to kids who are coming over and transferring in and plugging you in the summer. And all 3 of our kids have had activities, which is a little bit of a paradigm shift from CCS and what your summers are like over there. But it is helpful when you're transitioning here that you'll spend some time in the summer going to basketball camp or going to basketball practice or having volleyball practice or working with the dance team or whatever. And it gives them some folks and friendly faces to get to know before the first day of school. So when they walk in the door that first day, there are lots of people that they know. And that was really helpful. And I think the school does a really good job of reaching out and saying, here's what's coming up, here are the tryout dates, what are you interested in, let's make contact with you. I'm telling you, the coaches were on it. We were getting emails and phone calls, and we really felt like we knew what was coming down the pipe so that our kids could go ahead and get plugged in. Socially, I feel like we all talk about how we want strong academics, we want activities, but really in our hearts we want to know that our kids will find their people and be okay. And that has been such a sweet and pleasant surprise that, not so much a surprise, but just a relief that our kids from the get-go have been welcomed with open arms. I think by the time you get to 9th grade, it's kind of exciting. Who are the new kids? Let's check them out and see what they're all about. And, they get invited over to do things socially, and it's been great and a good transition for them. So I would love to chat with you at any point if y'all had questions about what it's like, bringing over your 9th grade kids. But just a word as for what I'm doing professionally here at school. This year, I'm the Associate Head of Academics and Student Life. And the clubs and organizations kind of fall under the Student Life umbrella. And we have everything from a biomedical club that was completely student-led, that we had a student who was interested in being a doctor and spent some time doing internships and made his own connections with doctors in the area and all across the country. They bring those doctors in to come speak. They have Skype sessions where they talk with doctors in California. And that was, an example of a club that was totally student-led. We've also got some outdoor clubs that I help with: bass fishing, equestrian, clay trap and skeet teams. What's the last one I'm forgetting? Sailing, thank you. So really interesting, unusual, out-of-the-box activities. And I think, Grace Ann, you might be coming to talk about your experience with the equestrian team.
Okay, hello. I'm Grayson Eskridge. I came to prep in the 6th grade, and I'm on the equestrian team. I've been riding since I think I was 10, and the equestrian team is like the best thing to do. Like, my thing is riding. Like, I'll go to the barn on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you just get on, you ride for an hour, you learn everything about a horse you've never learned before, and we also have these barn days on Saturdays, and we get out there, we learn, we go like bareback, so this month was bareback month, so like you don't have a saddle or anything. It's kind of scary, but like you get a hang of it, and but it's not bareback month anymore, but it's just a great bonding time. You meet people you never knew before, and there's other people that are on the team that doesn't ride or like go to prep, but you just learn and you just make friends. So yeah.
Miriam, you can go next, because I think you were going to talk to us a little bit about teachers and coaches.
Perfect. Okay. Is this one?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Miriam, and I came to prep in the 9th grade. And one thing that I think is very unique about prep is that every teacher truly has your best interest in mind. I think every teacher is very knowledgeable about what they teach, and they're very passionate about sharing that knowledge with you. But one thing that really was important to me when I first came to prep is Miss Reedy, who is the 9th grade English teacher. My brother's in 9th grade, and she's teaching him right now. Is that she called me into her room, or saw me in the hall like a few weeks after school had started, and just wanted to know who my friends were, what I've been doing. And I think that's something that you don't find a lot of places, and what makes prep so special.
And Dylan, you were going to visit a little bit about the arts.
Okay, so hi, my name is Dylan Freeman. I came here in the 6th grade, and well, at first, coming from Christ Covenant, you've known, I went there since preschool. So it was like, I've been with these people, Mills being one of them, and it was a little intimidating at first. And it was a little intimidating at first to, go to a whole new school and thinking, where do I fit in? And I had come to some of the show choir camps during summer to kind of see like what it was. And so when I got to 8th grade, I got the opportunity to try out for Fusion. And I was so excited to be like involved in the arts because, when I was little, we would go to like the Peter Pan musical and like, someone was flying and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So, I was really excited and, I made it and we had a great show that year and I've been in show choir ever since. And last year, we won nationals in Chicago, so that was a great achievement with a whole bunch of really close friends that you make along the way. Also, our plays and musicals. Last year we did Shrek, and at first everyone was like, okay, that's different. But as you can see, like behind me, we hold a standard here at Prep that it looks like Broadway. It feels like Broadway, rehearsals and music. It's like everyone takes it seriously, and we're really devoted to taking the audience somewhere that get them away from their life a little bit and really put on a show. And last year's musical was a success. It was wonderful, and the music was wonderful. I was backstage on set because I play soccer and I couldn't be in it, sadly. But it's crazy being backstage too and just seeing all the moving parts. But a great thing about prep is that no matter what you are, like no matter what your interests are, you can find a place and find friends and really be excellent in everything that you do.
Elizabeth, we're going to talk about GLI and college counseling. Why don't you do GLI first, because I think Annie's going to talk a little bit about that as well.
I'll let her talk about it more.
Okay.
She has more to say.
Okay.
I'll talk about college. Hi, so my name is Elizabeth Downing. I came to prep in the 9th grade. So I'm a student who's applying to a pretty wide range of universities for next year, and I'm somebody who's applying to small liberal arts colleges such as like Tulane and Wesleyan, as well as Ole Miss, and I'm a candidate to the United States Naval Academy in West Point. So I'm definitely looking everywhere for college next year. And I will say, like, the college counseling office at Prep has been so helpful because, like, as like you guys may have heard of the intercom earlier, like they're constantly bringing in colleges to come speak to us, like whether it just be like on a school day here at Prep or like at the college fair every year. We have a wide range of universities. Like I had the opportunity to talk to NYU, which is another school like I'm really interested in. So the college counseling office here at Prep really gives us the opportunity to see a whole wide range of universities, and they also like help us if we just want to go to Ole Miss or State, which is like closer to home. They show us like what scholarships we need to apply to, and they also help us a lot with like college essays and the do's and don'ts of talking to admissions officers. And I think another thing that was really helpful is junior year. Every junior is required to take a semester of junior seminar, which is really helpful because during that class period we start our Common App, which is very helpful for me because a lot of the colleges I'm applying to are Common App schools. We start our college essays. We do a lot of ACT prep, and I will say I'm pretty sure my reading score went up 4 points on the ACT during junior seminar. So it's a very helpful class period that the college counseling office puts on for us. And then also senior year, once a month we have senior meetings where they touch base with us, see how we're doing, see where we're coming along in our application process. So yeah.
Great.
Hi, I'm Annie Watkins, and I came to Prep in 9th grade from Christ Covenant. I've been at Christ Covenant since Fair Orchard Preschool. And I've really loved Prep, and I think one great thing that we do is, well, like we're encouraged not only to get involved here, but in our communities and be leaders. One of the things that does that is the Global Leadership Institute. And so my experience has been just like immediately in 9th grade, I was able to be part of the Big Sis Little Sis program, and I got my Little Sis, which was neat for me because I feel like I didn't really get to know a lot of younger kids, and that way I did. Another way is through the 9th grade retreat, which is a day for just 9th graders where they take us out to some cool retreat place, and we get assigned like a senior and a junior, and we get to know them and ask them questions about their experience and let them just kind of show us just examples of how to go through prep, and that's been really great for me. Also, I've been involved in community service here, which is really encouraged at prep, which I think is great. So I'm able to go to like Batson and go like play with the kids for a few hours a week, and I just really loved that and learned a lot from it.
So another part of the Global Leadership Institute is we do these things called MAD projects, which are Make a Difference projects. So they're essentially service projects. So I've done 2 so far since being at Prep. Sophomore year was the first one I did. I packed, I believe it was 600 sack lunches for the students at God's Haven, which is a local ministry downtown that kind of like does some after school work and like helps them with tutoring and stuff like that. So I packed a bunch of lunches for them to have during Christmas break, so they could like, God's Haven, will babysit some of the kids while their parents are working during Christmas break while they're off of school. And then junior year, so every year we have the junior garage sale. You guys may have heard about it, seen it. So it's a really, really big thing that we put on every year, that the junior class puts on. So last year there's 2 people who are in charge of it every year, and I was a co-chair of that. Last year I was, and that was a really cool experience because I was leading my classmates, and it really taught me how to like be firm but not make enemies.
I can relate.
That's kind of be like, hey guys, we got to get our hours in for this week. We got to have these clothing racks set up by tomorrow. But yeah, so that was a really awesome opportunity that the Global Leadership allowed me to experience of like how to practice my leadership skills, not just learn them. So yeah.
And we've got Mills and Jacob, and I'm going to ask Mills and Jacob to talk about athletics, but also talk about spiritual life at Prep as well. And if you want to, you can hand off to anyone else who wants to chime in on that as well.
Okay. Hey, I'm Jacob Perkins. I'm a senior now. I am a CCS graduate. Came here in the 9th grade. And I'm going to touch on my transition from Christ Covenant to prep through athletics. So I play soccer, football, and I run track. And coming into 9th grade from Christ Covenant, I was big in basketball, which allowed me to, during the summer, meet a bunch of prep people that played basketball and other sports. And going to all those camps in the summer and really getting to know them and spending like 3 days at a college campus for the tournament was really, really helpful for me to build my relationships with students before actually coming to prep. So through all that, through the sports that I played, coming into prep was pretty easy. I felt like I fit in like the first day of school. I walked in the doors and then my friends were like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, hey. And they're like, you a new kid? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a new kid. So it was really helpful. I really encourage your students or your kids to be involved, to be involved in sports at Jackson Prep. At Jackson Prep. The coaches are really, really helpful here. They are your teachers too, so you want to be good students. And it's been really helpful. It's really time consuming too, but it's really good for time management and developing other skills like that.
Hey, I'm Mills. I came in the 7th grade to prep from Christ Covenant. And Jacob covered a lot of it. Yeah, it can be overwhelming coming from Christ Covenant to a big school like this to play sports. But the coaches are very helpful. And like Jacob said, it can be time consuming, but oh, yeah, sorry about that. I just kind of did. But I think it's worthwhile, even though it's time consuming. You know, you get that team experience. You get to become close to coaches and other students through that, develop relationships. Spiritually speaking, I think the coaches set a great example of how you should live your life, and you know, you learn a lot from Coach Black, as crazy as it might seem sometimes, but you learn a lot from your coaches.
You're on videotape, Mills.
If Coach Black sees this, I apologize.
Miriam, I think you wanted to talk about campus ministries as well.
So again, I'm Miriam, and I'm the president of FCA this year, which has been really cool to just, it's kind of a GLI, like get to lead that. But there's a lot of different ways to get involved spiritually if you choose to at prep. There's FCA, and then for junior high, there's Unite, which is in the mornings, right? It's like a little small group type Bible study in the mornings, which I know is great for making friends and also remembering your spiritual life. And Unleash is once a month. And a speaker comes, and it's just for junior high, right?
It's for anybody.
Or anybody. And a speaker comes and again just aids your spiritual life. But one thing about prep is that they encourage you to be whoever you want to be, and so being spiritual, everyone really just encourages that and values who you are and who you want to be.
Thanks, Miriam. One thing I wanted to follow up a little bit on one of the things that Mary Kelly said is you know, the Christ Covenant students that have come in here have really thrived. I mean, the student body president right now is a Christ Covenant graduate. So that applies for the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, but also in the 7th grade. Mary Kelly will probably kill me when she hears this. Binge, her 7th grader, and Larry Johnson, who's from Hartfield, came over to my house and spent the night one night, and they stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning to kill them, playing games and hanging out and being boys. That didn't have anything to do with me or Mary Kelly working prep. Those boys just all came together through sports or just being in class, and you know, and they had only been together for a couple of weeks, and it was like they'd been together for years, and it's great to see the kids come together like that. See them, and the Christ Covenant students have really done well and been very well prepared and very, it was assimilated very well into our environment. You have these students trapped here. I want to invite you to ask them any questions about anything because they have a perspective that's obviously unique from ours. And then I'm going to introduce the faculty and staff that we have here so that we can, if you want to ask questions of them as well. Any takers?
We're super knowledgeable.
You just ask them random facts and say, how good of a job you've done. Let me do this, and let me introduce some of the people that we've got in the room. And I'm gonna, if I miss them, I've got right here Trudy Powers, who is the head of our junior high school. We've got Rita Hare, who is one of our junior high counselors and is the counselor for the 9th grade. Will Crosby, who is our athletic director. Malika Lindsay, who is our director of college counseling. Denny Brett, who is our chief operating officer. Ryan Sherman, who's behind the camera, who's our director of communications. Sharon Box, who works and helps direct our GLI, Global Leadership Institute. Tracy Mallard, who is our director of admissions. Chris Boone, who is our chief external affairs officer. And you all have already met Mary Kelly, who is our associate director of academics. I'm going to ask some questions, and if y'all have follow-up questions, please don't hesitate. I always like to start with Will just because it's fun. Look, when you're the head of school, you find little places that amuse you and you go with it. So, well, do please share with us a little bit, about what it's like to come in from our perspective, having these 9th graders come in to the school and how they get kind of acclimated into our athletic program because they haven't been here for the first couple of years. What do we do to help them, get into the program and find the sports that they want to play and make sure that they've got those opportunities?
Jacob touched on a lot of it when he was talking about sports and coming in maybe not as a 7th grader. It's really not a whole lot of difference whether you're coming in as a 6th grader, as a 7th grader, as an 8th grader, as a 9th grader, because those opportunities are there, right? And that's what we want to try to provide from an athletic standpoint. Those that are interested, those students that are interested in athletics, we want to try to provide as many opportunities as we can. And a lot of those opportunities are going to come in the summer before they get here. Which, as Jacob pointed out, is a great way to get acclimated a little early, to find a group of friends that you're comfortable with. So when you show up in the halls on the first day of school, there's several faces that you already know, and maybe know well, depending on how much time you've spent with them in the summer. So we have a lot of opportunities athletically to get involved, which is one of our goals. So many sports, and like I said, a lot of those sports will have some type of summer activity, whether it's soccer or baseball or basketball or football, cross country, all of those sports, softball, all of those sports will do things throughout the summer. Not every day, but they'll have enough activities throughout the summer, whether they're preparing for the upcoming fall season or just doing summer activities to get ready for a season that may start in the winter. They'll do enough activities to where if that's something that you're interested in and that's a team that or an organization that you're interested in being a part of, you're able to have some time with them throughout the summer that really helps in the transition to coming the first day of school.
Thank you. Because the mic's right there, I'm going to go to Ms. Hare. Ms. Hare, as students come in the 9th grade, in particular, the cross-country students, how have they acclimated to prep? And talk about, concerns with homework and load and all those type of things as for students coming in who haven't been at prep for the first couple of years.
I will. To echo what others have said before me, we love our Christ Covenant babies. We really do. And just like you've heard, not only do they come so well prepared academically, they move seamlessly into our academics. Those who are interested in the honors programs move right on into honors. They do beautifully. Some of our students may have started a foreign language study at Christ Covenant this year, Spanish or Latin. They move right into the second level of that language at our school beautifully. You have chosen a good elementary and middle school for your job. They come to Jackson Prep very well prepared. I told Cal a while ago, though, I think probably my favorite thing about our Christ Covenant transfer students is that they come ready to engage. They are ready to contribute. They don't sit on the sidelines and just watch. They jump in. And that's one of the things that we love most about those students. It is a transition, though. I am in the process now of visiting one-on-one with every transfer student that has come to our school this year. I do this every year. It's just a check-in time. They've been at school now about 6 weeks. How are things going? How are your classes going? How is prep different from your previous school? And my ending question that I always ask them, I ask every student, I say, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being, I hate this place and I never want to come back here again as long as I live, to 10 being, Jackson Prep is perfect, which I know we're not, because we're made up of fallible human beings. But on that scale of 1 to 10, how has your transition been? Y'all, the lowest number I've gotten so far this year is an 8. That is great. That is so great. So they are feeling comfortable. They are making friends. They are getting involved. And I think what I would say to your part about overload of homework and things like that, we have so much help available to students. Somebody mentioned it, I don't remember who it was, maybe Miriam, mentioned meeting with your teachers outside of class. You know, at prep, hold on to your chairs, parents. You know your child's going to be a high school freshman next year, okay? If that hasn't sunk in, here you are. But at prep, the way that we manage our student population is that our 9th graders are part of the junior high. They play on the junior high football team. They are in the junior high show choir. They're housed in the junior high building. In the junior high, we require our teachers to hold 2 tutorial sessions a week. That is time they reserve. They mark it off on their calendar. They guarantee that they will be in their classroom ready to work with students on an individual basis. The truth of the matter is, they're there every day. They're available all the time. And it is a common occurrence. It is a usual occurrence to walk down the hall at any of the breaks, before school, activity period, after school, and see students sitting shoulder to shoulder with teachers in their classrooms getting help on the concept that they missed or having a question answered that didn't get answered in class. So that is what I say to you, and I hope my students up there will back me up on that. I feel like there's lots of help available when you feel overwhelmed.
And even if, like, I know I email my teachers after I miss, and sometimes, like, I know I was out on, like, maybe last Monday, and I was up to speed before I even got back. To school, because my history teacher sent me the PDF of the worksheet we're supposed to do. She said, your online textbook, go read it and fill this out, and you'll be perfectly up to speed. Next class, I was turning it in, and I wasn't behind at all, so definitely.
Did anybody have a question? I wanted to ask y'all, the mics here, talk a little bit about every school has a sense of community. You know, I mean, Christ Covenant has a sense of community, Prep's got a sense of community. Talk about the transition into the Prep community. How difficult, how easy, what was that like coming from a different school? Because that is a challenge. And I know, Miriam, you didn't necessarily go to Christ Covenant, but you came from another school as well. So talk about that in terms of how that works. Whoever wants to do it.
So actually, all of your children have more of an advantage than I did because they have other Christ Covenant students when they came to prep. I walked into prep the first day and I didn't know anyone. And automatically people went out of their way to talk to me and introduce me to their friends. And 9th grade is the second biggest entry point into prep. So there were 23 other new kids when I came in 9th grade. And everyone, football games on Friday are a huge thing. Everybody's there, you're talking to everybody. And the great thing is that that's the beginning of the school year. The first week of school, the first Friday, we have a football game. So I definitely say there's millions of opportunities to get yourself plugged in. And like we have an activity period every day, which is where usually like me and my friends will sit in the cafeteria and just eat a snack. And that's part of building friends and building a community. And so now 4 years later, you know, I walk down the hall and I know almost everybody, which is really special.
I'm going to hand it to Miss Lindsay to talk about college counseling and how that starts in the 9th grade and the things that we're doing in the 9th grade. And, you know, because one of the things that we talk about is, to Ms. Harris' point, the 9th grade is sort of the beginning of a 4-year process of preparing our students for college. And talk about some of the things that we're doing and then how that progresses as they go through the process at high school.
Well, I add my welcome to all of you. Again, my name is Malika Lindsay. I'm the Director of College Counseling here at Prep, and we work really hard to make sure that all of your questions get answered as you have them. And that sounds like a really small thing, but invariably you'll be having lunch with a friend, or you'll hear something on Today's Show, or someone will share something, a colleague will share something about a college experience, or college is, you know, a destination. And it's really critical that you get your question answered, because the thing that stresses us out the most about this sort of unknown process is the answer we don't have to those questions. It's the thing that we don't know. It's the unknown piece of the puzzle. We endeavor, especially with parents, to make sure that you have access to us from the very beginning of your experience. So 9th grade parents have what are called a brown bag lunch. There's a brown bag lunch every year, but at the brown bag lunch we actually present and make sure that you understand some of the basics about the big picture of college and what lies ahead, and then the prep picture of the college process and what it is that you can expect. But our goal is to be available as your resident experts at all times for all things relating to the college process. Should you choose to send your child here, you've had the wisdom to send them to a place where we're doing highly intelligent division of labor. I don't do scheduling. I don't do personal counseling. I do what I'm best at, which is college counseling. If you're having a hard time and your cat died and you hate your mom and your boyfriend dumped you, I am the wrong person to come to. I very politely pat you on your head and walk you to the right counselor. But that's actually really good, because when your hair is on fire over the Common Application, I'm your person and I know what I'm doing, and I'm here to support. I also think that our orientation to making sure that every student, whether you're at the top of the class or the bottom of the class or the middle of the class, not that you'll ever know because we don't rank, we are here to support everyone and to help make dreams come true. That's my job, is to help make dreams come true. And the last thing I'll say is just that I'm a prep parent, and I could not have made a better choice in this area as far as making sure that I have my child at a place where they're able to do all of the things that make them happy. So right now it's the tuba, and the boy is on the tuba all the time. There's not a tuba at my house, thank you God. But varsity band is the most important thing in the whole wide world right now, and that's okay. That's awesome. We really encourage attendance at the college fair as early as 9th grade, because we want our kids to have a broader sense of what the possibilities are, and not to be uncomfortable with shaking hands with the college rep and looking them in the eye and saying hello and asking some good questions. So just know that we're comprehensive in our focus. Everything counts, and we say that out loud repeatedly when 9th grade starts. Everything counts from then on, and we do everything we can to be supportive and helpful regardless of your child's destination when all is said and done.
Go ahead back to Denny. I've got a two-part question, or two different questions for him. One, too bad. One, Denny's our COO, and so he wears a lot of hats at Prep. One, talk a little bit about our flex tuition, that program, and give a little bit of a taste about that. But also, I'd like for you to visit a little bit about some of the things that we're doing in technology, our XR lab, and those things, and explain a little bit about that, if you will.
A couple things. First on flex tuition, that's the terminology we use. That doesn't mean it's flexible in how you pay. It means it's flex indexed upon income opportunity. So I would encourage you, never assume that you cannot be at Prep. We have a wide, really, spectrum of socioeconomic diversity here at Jackson Prep. So before you make a decision just looking at something and saying, I can't do something, have a conversation with me. We also have, I think it's on your list, a couple of brown bag lunches that really go more into depth on the flex tuition program. So I would encourage you to come to those or call me personally. And then Samantha Bowling is also the liaison to that process. Sam's available to answer anything you have there. So I would just encourage you, never make assumptions, but always look at the opportunities you have. The second question that Lawrence had is, one of the things that's going on at Jackson Prep is that we are trying to look to the future, and while you're here, while your student will be a freshman next year, we really want you to make a decision not based on a ninth grade decision, but we want you to make a decision based on a high school, college decision. And so part of what we're doing and sometimes I hate to use the word technology, because there are all these new tools that are becoming more and more available for our students to utilize. Matter of fact, all our kids came in here when you started elementary school or whatever, Christ Covenant, there wasn't a Google platform necessarily, but now you're using Google as part of the infrastructure. One of the things we introduced last year was our XR lab, and that's basically another word for extended reality, but right now it's a virtual reality lab. And the reason we put that in was twofold. One is we want to have our faculty to have another tool in their toolbox to teach. So it could be something from an immersion opportunity. I might put some of y'all on the spot. Have any of y'all gone through XR? So tell me one of the things that you did, Dylan.
The last week, I went to XR for a physics video about space and time, and it was crazy because it took you from like a little place where someone was having a picnic in Chicago all the way out past the Milky Way galaxy, and it felt like you were like moving back, and it was like whoa. And also last year we walked through the human body and like saw like what smoking did to the lungs, and like you were like inside the lungs, and it was crazy.
So, and so two examples you talked about. One is the power of 10, and physics concept and the laws of that, and how do you do that. And then the body, last year too, we had students preparing for their final exam that actually came to the VR lab instead of looking at a piece of paper and looking, okay, there's the heart, the ventricle, they're actually in the heart. They're looking at it beating there, it's labeled, it's all those kind of things. And studies have shown that you retain 80% of what you experience, and really about 10% of what you memorize. And so part of it is, how do we as an institution provide this extra tool for our teachers from an immersion standpoint? The second thing, which is equally more exciting for me, is that there is a huge vacancy in job opportunities for people who know how to use the creative element of technology and support. And so this experience we just talked about, guess what? Somebody designed those. And so we need people who can do that, which also has underlying coding. One of the things we instituted this year was a mandatory 7th grade, which by the way is an IHL credit, for introduction to technology. We have an 8th grade required class and a 10th grade. And what those are is introducing our students to basic elements of coding and conceptual thinking and all those things, because the jobs of the future are going to require an element of that. I don't care what you do. If you're a banker, if you're a lawyer, particularly if you're in the design world, graphic, advertising, architecture, So part of it is foundational. And so as we have introduced this XR Lab, one of the things we're also teaching is how to create these experiences. And so we have a VR class that has 22 in it. I think Fixed Carry, I don't know if any of you guys are in it or not, but one of the things that they're learning is the basic building blocks of the Unreal Engine, which builds and designs all these things. So not only are we looking at this immersive, supported tool for our teachers, we're also looking at how do we prepare our students for jobs that don't even exist today, because that's what's happening. And so that's, when you look at us, look at the forward things we're doing. We're not replacing our core curriculum. We're enhancing those things, because if you're going to do those things, you need to know how to write well. You need to know how to communicate well. You need to know the elements of physics and the things that go into movement and motion. So all of those sort of fit together. So hopefully that is not too confusing, but that's kind of where we're looking as we talk about the future of work and how we're preparing our kids, not just for rote memorization. And I'm struck by these students. I know some of them fairly well, and I've watched all of you grow. But the things they talk about in here are a lot related to soft skills and how you interact with other people. And I'll let you comment on how you make them do what they need to do without making them. If you can master that, you really work. But those are the things that I think that prep as an institution allow these students to experiment with and succeed, and by the way, fail in some things, and that's okay. That's how you learn. There, I'll be quiet.
That's great. And building on that a little bit, this year our whole school is on a rotating schedule. We have an A day, B day, a C day. We have 7 carriers. The students, we went from having a 6-class schedule to a 7-class schedule. So it gives each one of our students an extra class throughout their career prep in each year, and it allows us to do some of the things that we're talking about. It allows students, to Mary Kelly's point, to find things that they're passionate about and try them out. You know, I've got an older daughter who's eating over guards, a middle son who's not. And you know, his review of The Greatest Showman was, "That's great, there was too much singing." Musical. But this year, the way the rotating schedule felt, he ended up taking band. And that's not something, he's never taken piano, he's never done music, he's never done anything. And that was not necessarily in something that he was necessarily going to do, but he's loved it. And it's something that he would have never thought he would have tried. And that's a testament to our teachers, because it's not anything that Rebecca or I ever instilled in him or insisted that it's where he wanted to go. Now his big sister browbeat him into taking it, so that's a different thing. But along with our rotating schedule, we've also instituted an advisory program. And I'd like, Sharon, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about our advisory program, because that kind of lives under the banner of the GLI.
Yes, I'm Sharon Box, and like he said, I'm the assistant director with our Global Leadership Program. So our advisory program, our faculty and staff, each one of them have a group of 8 to 10 students that we meet with twice a week. So that's 7th grade through 12th grade. These groups are randomly assigned, and the kids come to us, and we have some topics they can discuss. For example, if we have a speaker that's coming, we had somebody talk about the Social Institute, how to use your phones and your technology for good. So we had some surveys that the kids did beforehand, and then we talked about after the speaker came, what were some things what were some nuggets you got out of that. So it gives us an opportunity as faculty and staff to engage with our students, and it gives all of our students another advocate for them in a teacher, to have somebody else they can come to at school. So we think that's highly important. We meet twice a week, and junior high is boys and girls, and then by the time they get to senior high, they are gender specific, and they stay with the same advisor 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So that gives them kind of a lasting relationship. And I'll let maybe Denny speak to the fact that this is his opportunity to meet with kids, and it's really been a very positive impact, I think, from the kids' perspective and from the teacher's perspective.
So for me, in my role as COO, that means I'm not a teacher, I'm not a coach. So I don't get to be in classrooms with these folks every day. And so my opportunity actually has been being an advisor of 8th grade students, and it's such a fun group because they're not cynics yet, and actually kind of do what you say in some ways. But to listen to that group and to be able to create relationships. I mean, I watched one of the students last night in the very front row of the show that we did on the Arts Alive thing, and I'm just like, I know Olivia, and she loves doing this. And so it just helps me from a connection point with these students. The other thing collectively it does for our students, particularly the younger students, it gives them another person to be able to go to that's not a coach or teacher necessarily, or their coach or teacher. And so it gives them another layer of an adult that I could go to if I need something. And that's really, ultimately for us, we are in a relationship business here in this institution. And we have a wonderful mission, but it all comes down to relationships. So our advisory helps create those connections and give our students another advocate, another voice, another cheerleader for them. We had 8th grade football last night, and after Arts Alive, I went over and watched 4 of the kids in my advisory do it. If they weren't in my advisory, I wouldn't even know who they were, but I'm connected to them in that way. So that's just my own sort of personal testimony of that.
I'm going to grab the mic. I'd like for Grace Ann, if you don't mind, if you talk about advisory a little bit, just from a student's perspective.
Well, it's like a time where you can come and just talk about like what you're doing in the day, if you're like okay, or like if you're stressing about homework and stuff, but like you just bond with everyone in that and stuff. So it's a really great time, and like most of them, like I've been friends with them, but I haven't been like that close, but we've gotten really close lately. So
Thank you. I'm now going to hand the microphone to Tracy Mallard, who's our Director of Admissions, and let her kind of wrap us up and give you whatever information, because there will be events that will be coming up, and specifically this Friday we've got our open house, but I'll let her visit a little bit about that.
I'm actually going to let the Pathfinders go, but if y'all would just give them a round of applause. They have class over 2, and y'all can eat and then go to class. So thank y'all so much for coming. So I am the Director of Admission. You've probably gotten the emails from me up until this point, and if you have not, you will. So they'll be out there. On where you're sitting, there's a bookmark that labels all of the admission events that we have coming up this fall. It actually goes all the way through for some dates for the spring. So I just wanted to draw your attention to the fact that we do have a 9th grade prep preview just for 9th grade on October the 25th. That's a Friday. Christ Covenant gets out early that day. So I believe they release at 12 on that day, and so ours starts at 1 o'clock. We will feed them lunch. So anybody that wants to come to that 9th grade prep preview, there is a link online that you can sign up for that, but I'll send that out to you also. And then in December, we're going to do a 9th grade only testing. So I will get you those dates too. That one is actually not on there. I did not coordinate with, I didn't look at the schedule for Christ Covenant yet, so I'm going to pick another day where they do not miss school for that. If you want them to come and test that day, we'll do that. And they'll get to eat pizza and kind of make it fun, sort of. As fun as you can make testing. But anyway, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call or email. My information is on the bottom of the bookmark for you, and I'm here to help as much as you need. Does anyone have questions about the admission process?
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Tracy has had the wisdom to put onto the table for each of you the school profile, which comes out annually and gives context to whoever's reading a transcript for our students in the college process. It provides them all the details they need about the prep community, prep classes, testing, etc. And on the back is a listing of all the schools our students have been admitted to in the course of the last 5 years. The reason I draw your attention to the profile is because you should be requesting this at any school you're considering enrolling your child at. You need to see this document to make a good decision. It's a part of good decision making when you're trying to figure out the best place for your child. But the school profile should be ready information and information that you have access to as you're evaluating schools.
I have one more thing before we close. I want to ask Crystal Boone, who's our Chief External Affairs Officer, who came back to us after a sojourn in the wilderness. But Crystal is an alum. She's a former parent, and I want Crystal to talk about two different things. One, from the perspective, I mean, her boys were very involved in the arts. She was a parent of children in the arts, and we have our Applause, which is our kind of our parental group that supports the arts. Talk about that, from a parental standpoint, but then also talk about, you've experienced prep from virtually every different perspective. Talk about just prep and the community, what it's meant to your family, and those type of things. Let me get you the mic.
Oh, I don't need a mic. So I graduated from prep. My brother graduated from prep. My husband, his sister, and his brother, and then our two children. And it as Lawrence said, the arts. I was on the stage. I was Mammy Yoakum in Little Abner when I was a junior in high school. The video is out there floating somewhere. I hope it's VHS so that you can't watch it. But that made a huge impact on me. And Elizabeth Downing talking about the experiences that she had that led her to where she is now. And I will. She's gone, so I'll tell on her. So, is this on?
No.
I didn't think so. I don't think so. So I leaned over to Tracy. So her father, Jeff Downing, was in school with me at prep. And I leaned over to Tracy and I said, gosh, she's impressive. She did a great job. And Tracy said, she did last year. And I said, really? Because that is development at its best. I mean, that's what, and I laughed. I said, it was leadership at the garage sale. Was it? I don't know. But the transformation of watching her and not knowing her, because I did just come back about 8 weeks ago, and hearing that's really what you want. The stage made me who I am. The stage changed my children's lives, literally. I mean, the Oklahoma, that one's mine. So they were not athletes, and I wanted those boys to learn how to be part of a team. And that they were both in show choir. My older one said, I want to try out for show choir. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. You can't decide you don't want to work that hard after 3 weeks because people are counting on you. And he loved it. He was a lead in a musical. So that part of the arts is wonderful. And to speak to what Lawrence was talking about, Applause is our Fine Arts Booster Club. And we love parental involvement to a point. I mean, we don't need to be helicopter parents. We need to let our children fail. We need to let our children accomplish. We need to let our children advocate. But there are places at Jackson Prep where we need you. We need sets built. We need moms helping girls change clothes on the side wings. I mean, we need a lot of things. And the Applause group is really wonderful. We Denny, I don't believe yet, know of another fine arts support group at another school, anywhere, much less in the Southeast or in Mississippi. So there are opportunities for you to get involved. There are opportunities for you to be healthily, that's probably not a word, involved with your students' lives and with your kids' lives. So we encourage you to look at that and do that and be involved where appropriate, but also hands-off where appropriate, because we guide them from 7th grade to 8th grade. When your student comes into the 9th grade, we're not going to expect them to be a senior. They're in the 9th grade. So we build on those years as we go through. But when they leave you, they need to be a successful adult. And so that's part of what we do. Did I hit
That's perfect. That's perfect. Before, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Anyone have any questions? I know we've thrown a lot of information at you at one time. There'll be lots of opportunities to ask questions later on. If you have any questions, certainly don't hesitate to reach out to Tracy, myself, anyone in the room. Oh.
It's real quick. How big is the 8th grade this year?
The 8th grade class is 105 right now. And we would hope that it will grow by 10 or 15 in the 9th grade. And that's a very healthy number that we've got, 120-ish in our 9th grade. That would be a good number. It allows the kids to all know each other and be part of a community. So right now it's 105. I think I got that. Any other questions? thank all of you for being here. I know it's difficult to take time out of your day. We very much appreciate it. We look forward to continued conversations and getting to know you. If you have any questions about any of the dates or anything like that, please don't hesitate to ask. Thanks so much.